Hello, this is our Module 4 assignment, just kind of going over my choice for utilizing autogenic training just to be able to help with our survey questions that we're doing for arousal and overall like muscle stiffness and tightness and just nerves as we're learning about how arousal and anxiety can impact performance and how to best manage that with coping strategies. So this is my wife, Taylor. She's been able to help with this assessment. And one of the reasons why I'm doing it this day and this time is she participates in CrossFit and thought today would be a good day. She's about to go to a class, and that class has a one rep max back squat assessment. And she's been working this past 8-week cycle just to be able to help prepare for that and try to see if she can improve her 1 rep max back squat from her pre-assessment. So I just kind of wanted to provide context on that. Just I know that you've been happy about it and you were just ready to, but you're also nervous just because you really want to make sure that your 8 weeks were worth it of doing all these back squat progressions and things. So I just wanted to kind of give a little context. While you're sitting and resting a little bit before we take heart rate, I'm just going to ask these pre-assessment questions that we have to do for our assignment. So I've told you a little bit, this is kind of like on a 7-point Likert scale. So like 1 being like not at all your baseline, and then 7 being like at the most for these questions. So just kind of like your tightness, tension, and your overall muscles, like how are you feeling on like your tightness as a 7 being very much or a 1 being not at all?
Probably a 5.
5, okay. And then what about your general arousal? So just kind of like stimulation right now, thinking about that activity.
Probably a 3.
3, okay. So just kind of neutral. What about your worry and anxiety?
Probably around a 5.
Okay. Yeah, so do you feel a little anxious about the test and everything else? Okay. So perfect. So what I'm going to do now is just kind of take her radial pulse just for 30 seconds, just for the sake of her time and the video's time, but just kind of get that baseline heart rate. So. So I was 37, so then 37 times 2, so now you got 74 beats per minute, which is your baseline here. All right, so when I kind of told you a little bit, I didn't tell you specifically everything we're going to do, but kind of the choice is some autogenic training, which is breathing, and kind of from my past experience coaching and stuff, I've always been a fan of utilizing breathing into this. So we're going to start with like a breathing pattern just to be able to help kind of a little more like your parasympathetic stimulation home, kind of tell you a little bit more of like your breathing tempo and how to breathe. So we're going to do a breathing in through your nose, breathing out through your mouth when you're kind of laying on the floor, and just kind of really trying to stay relaxed there. All that tension is in your belly. We're going to really relax all of our tension in our shoulders, right? So we're just going to make sure we're breathing in our diaphragm. So if I have you laying on your back. Yep, I'm staying in the camera lens, and then there you go, knees bent like that's fine. All right, yep, so you can just stay like that. So make sure too, I know it's hard to think about, but just staying relaxed and your shoulders right, so no tension. I want you to breathe in through your nose for 2 seconds, and then when you exhale, I want it to be really slow. So think about like 3 to 4 seconds there. So I just want you to kind of get that rhythm for a little bit of time. Nice. And keeping that tempo, now it seems like you got a really good rhythm of your breathing, so keep the breathing going. Now we're going to also add some internal imagery. So I want you to think, you're talking about getting kind of a little anxious about the 1 rep max back squats. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to kind of envision like yourself right now, like taking out of the rack, going through your routine. I know everyone typically has a routine before when they produce their lift. And I want you to think about that, kind of like, I know you have that number in mind that you're wanting to hit in comparison to your pre-assessment. So imagine having that weight, going through your routine, and successfully completing that lift when you're continuously breathing right here.
Okay.
A little bit longer, just keeping track of the time here. You're gonna try to make sure you're not tensing your shoulders, your chest, everything's in your diaphragm. All right, so I want you to do that breath about 4 more repetitions. So the 2-second inhale, 4-second exhale. Kind of come back to sitting like you were at the beginning. All right. How does that feel? You maybe feel a little more relaxed, about to fall asleep.
Yeah.
It's kind of like now, just thinking about how you're feeling now. Kind of no pressure on answering these questions, but like, what are your kind of relaxation levels compared to before? Did that seem helpful at all?
Yeah, a lot actually.
Mm-hmm.
So on the scale, probably now I feel like a 3 to 4-ish.
Okay, so kind of like your tension and stuff.
I think you reminding me to relax my shoulders really helped.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Let go of that tension.
Okay. And then, and that kind of leads into this. So like, kind of like you're following, you said kind of tightness and tension in your muscles. You're, kind of, what did you say again?
Probably like a 4.
Like a 4?
Yeah.
Okay, so a little bit better then. So, what about just your overall arousal?
I'd say probably still about the same, right at a 3.
Okay.
Pretty neutral.
Pretty neutral. Okay. And then like your kind of your worry or anxiety on that scale, 1 to 7, where would you find yourself?
I would say probably a 3 too. Like
3?
I'm still ready for it and excited, but also I feel more relaxed about it.
Perfect. Okay, so that was
imagining it really helped.
Okay. Awesome. Perfect. And that kind of internal imagery of you successfully completing your lift.
Yeah.
And then also too, that kind of like breathing will always help too, especially activating your diaphragm for that inter-abdominal pressure and things when you're doing that back squat. So that always too. So right before you do your back squat exercise, I think that would also help to keep doing that How do you think that would transfer? Do you think you might try to do that before your class, like right before you do the back squat?
Oh yeah, I think especially relieving that tension when you carry the weight and stress of right here and the anxiety, that really would help.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm glad to hear that that was beneficial too. And maybe you can also, especially thinking about transferring it into like before you do your classes, not just today, but other assessments and like exercise classes through your CrossFit time. Okay, so then what I'm going to do now too is just kind of take your heart rate a little bit again, just kind of like last time doing the 30 seconds. I'm just going to use the time on the camera as well, and then just start it that way. So let me get your pulse. All right. So I got a 34, so a little bit better, not too crazy of a difference, but that is a little bit better. So you're talking about 68 now. So let me make sure that gets recorded. All right. So now to just kind of like to finish this post-assessment. So kind of like your overall feelings and everything too. Kind of we went before you started doing the breathing exercise after asking those questions last time. So kind of like describe your general emotions and just kind of how you are in that state right now.
I would say I definitely feel relaxed. Still have a little bit of anxiety just because of anticipation of successfully completing it. Like you said, I do have that number in my head, so it's like anxious about getting to it and completing that number, but overall I definitely feel more relaxed. I definitely feel more mentally prepared as well.
Okay, awesome. That works, and I'm glad to hear that too. So and just wanting to, and good luck to be able to hit that number that you have in your mind. So but yeah, so I mean that is pretty much how everything went. I think overall this session went pretty well to be able to utilize that test. I mean, there wasn't much of a change in like your objective for your heart rate, but subjectively I do think it did help some when it comes to comparing those like her scale responses of how stiff you were and tight and just overall like your anxiety.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
all right, awesome. Well, thank you, and then thank you all for watching.